In your attempt not to miss out on anything, everything becomes a confusing, unpalatable mess, and you're left staring at an empty plate.
Because, you probably have no use for an empty plate and need some room on the table for your next dish, you're not gonna be like, no, I wish for this plate to remain where it is.
Food, plate of, empty plate of supposed food, but there was no food odor in the room. So, they were staging. They were staging it for my visits.
Cover the plates using an empty plate or plate cover and place in the refrigerator at 4 degrees C for a minimum of overnight and for a maximum of 7 days.
It really is heartbreaking to see an empty plate here, an empty bowl.
It's a dinner plate, and we know that it was painted in 1921, shortly after the Russian Revolution. If you look at the man and the factory, both are glowing. You think of sunrise, a new future.
Ultimately, with the passage of years, the survivors will increase in size, from that of a dinner plate at year 1 to that of a dinner table, in the case of one species at least, the leatherback, a decade or so later.
These attractive turtles are smaller than a dinner plate.
So pretend it's a dinner plate, right, stood in the middle, so on the outside, you spin it, if you stood on the outside, you'll zoom off.
You could probably just glue a few kitchen sponges to a dinner plate in an upright position with a bit of space between them, add some water so the sponges absorb it, and put that contraption in front of a small desk fan, and get way more cooling than this thing could ever hope to produce.
When you make your pies, take a little dish somewhat larger than a soup plate and lay a very thin crust all over it.
And these are beef ribs in a soup, but it's served kind of on a soup plate. And I think they're the same ribs, just beautiful chunks.
Sitting by the window, overlooking the square, doing some embroidery, she watched the frame exposed to the light, and when it was time, she proceeded to the fixing in a soup plate.
Soup and plate, teapot in the form of a camel, tea caddy casket containing a sugar box and 2 tea caddies, teapot, teapot, teapot.
They promised to give us each a plate of soup, but didn't.
Watch this move. I dropped a dirty plate.
In your bedroom, because if you put a dirty plate into a 2-gallon Ziploc bag and seal it, it will keep the bugs away.
Look at the plates, the food's going to taste the same. A dirty plate is a huge distraction.
You're not supposed to eat this dish with olive oil, so I'm gonna switch over to a clean plate. And then this, it feels like almost like pudding in texture. It's a bread, and then the potatoes on the, and then a few clams on top. So I will take a little bit of everything onto my plate again.
Now, just give it a good rinse, and you have a clean plate, or whatever. And if you work in a commercial kitchen, don't forget to fill the 3rd compartment of your 3-compartment sink with an approved chemical sanitizer solution or extremely hot water.
Framestore was given both the shots with the stand-ins and identical versions of those shots with just the backdrop and no reference, known as a clean plate.
Then wait for the next one. If you don't like what's coming or what's just been, you use the voiding dish over here to get rid of what you don't like. So you have a clean plate if you want a clean plate. But what you don't do is have a different plate for every single dish.
Would you like to cut into the chicken,
yes,
please?
In the way that people get used to seeing it done on films, which is quite unrealistic, is people just dig in.
The clean plate.
Clean plate, yes, chef.
So I think that qualifies these for a Clean Plate Club equivalency.
You can use a clean plate if that makes you more comfortable, but just know that it's not the same.